Today, the House Judiciary Committee held a hearing with Attorney General Merrick Garland on the weaponization of the Department of Justice. Now, for the past couple of years, you probably have watched as attorneys generals, district attorneys, and special prosecutors have relentlessly went after Donald Trump for just about everything that you can imagine, all culminating in a trial where the New York justice system was able to squeeze through a felony conviction on 34 counts of falsifying business records after they claimed that Donald Trump paid off an adult actress. Now, this final trial was especially egregious because it was presided over by a judge who has made political donations to Joe Biden and has a daughter who raises money for Donald Trump's political opponent. Once again, Joe Biden, his political opponent in the 2024 presidential race. Not to mention the fact that one of the lead prosecutors is a former deputy assistant to President Obama, as well as the former acting associate attorney general for President Biden. Now, all of these dubious legal attacks and the strange connections to the Biden and Obama administration has left a lot of us with obvious questions about the source of these attacks. Now, of course, the Department of Justice claims that these cases are all independent. These are just simple state and federal jurisdictions pursuing justice because nobody is above the law, not even someone as rich and powerful as Donald Trump. But throughout this hearing, Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, and many other GOP members have severely thrown this into question and grilled the Attorney General of the United States about these, shall we say, strange coincidences, as well as right here, where Jim Jordan brings up this strange situation where Jack Smith was put in charge of investigating this allegation of Trump's mishandling of classified documents and was caught himself tampering with the evidence.
Prosecutors aren't supposed to tamper with evidence, and it looks like that's what he did. He changed the sequence of the documents that he seized from Mar-a-Lago.
I'm sorry, that's a false characterization, but that is ongoing.
Here's what he said to the court, Mr. Attorney General. There are some boxes where the order of items within the box is not the same as in the associated scans. I mean, he said it. I didn't say it. He told the court that.
Now you're asking me to comment on a discovery dispute that's ongoing in a court. I don't know the facts of it, and I'm not going to comment on it.
No, this is from Jack Smith filing with the court. He admitted to the court that they tampered with the evidence. He mishandled the very documents he's charging President Trump with mishandling. And I'm just asking, do you regret picking this guy as the special counsel in the most important special counsel investigation probably in American history?
I'm sorry, I did not hear the words tamper in the statement that Mr. Smith filed. He did not use those words.
Well, let me ask it this way. Are you supposed to change the order of the documents that you seize and the physical documents don't match up with the scanned documents? Are you supposed to do that as a prosecutor?
This is a matter in dispute, in discovery in that court, and I'm going to leave it for the district court to make a determination after.
I would just say one last thing. It's not in dispute. This is what he said in the court filing. Jack Smith's team said that to the judge in the court. By the way, this case is now basically on hold because they've screwed up so many things.
So it's very odd, right? So this special prosecutor guy, Jack Smith, is in charge of an investigation where Trump supposedly mishandled classified documents. And now Jack Smith is under the microscope for himself mishandling the very evidence that he claims Donald Trump mishandled. The irony is absolutely amazing. Also, another very odd coincidence is what I mentioned earlier about the fact that there is this prosecutor named Matthew Colangelo who has ties to both the Biden and Obama administration running the show over at District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office. And this is something apparently where if you connect these dots and draw an obvious inference from this fact, you are engaging in a, quote, dangerous conspiracy theory. And this is also something that Matt Gaetz confronted Attorney General Merrick Garland over, who, of course, mostly gave a canned, pre-written response, even after Matt Gaetz offered him a very clear opportunity to prove the conspiracies wrong.
Attorney General, you've told us that it's a dangerous conspiracy theory to allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump. You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fani Willis' office and Letitia James' office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
You make a request, we'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing. You come in here and you lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, Just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about. Now, you were a judge, once nominated the highest court in our country. When you were a judge, I'm just curious, did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
No.
No, and you didn't because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't because there's a federal rule barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process, like, shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction which has to be respected. I won't comment on it. That case is still ongoing. The defendant,
Mr. Attorney General, I hadn't asked you about the verdict yet. We were getting there. I was talking about the judge. And so let me ask you this question about your time as a judge. Was there ever a time when you were a judge when you had a family member who was personally profiting off of the notoriety of a case that was before your court?
I'm going to say again, very clear, you're asking me to comment on a case in another jurisdiction.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have a family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over?
Say again, you're asking
yes or no?
You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're connecting the dots, Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution. You are aware that that creates the appearance of impropriety. You know the very reason there's a federal rule against judges giving donations is because it is the very attack on the judicial process that we're concerned about.
I'm sorry, I don't agree with anything you just said, but I'm not going to comment on it.
Okay, so you won't comment on it, Mr. Attorney General, but you had no problem dispatching Matthew Colangelo. Who's Matthew Colangelo?
That is false. I did not dispatch Matthew Colangelo.
Matthew Colangelo became the Assistant Attorney General at the very beginning of the Biden administration. Without having been Senate confirmed, goes and gets the senior role at the DOJ, and then after, I believe it's Gupta replaces Colangelo, Colangelo makes this remarkable downstream career journey from the U.S. Department of Justice in Washington, D.C., and then pops up in Alvin Bragg's office to go get Trump. And you're saying that's just a career choice that was made that has nothing to do with the lawfare coordinated by the...
I'm saying it's false. I did not dispatch Mr. Colangelo anywhere.
Well, do you know how he ended up there?
I assume he applied for a job there and got the job.
But see, you know what?
I can tell you I had nothing to do with it.
Well, you might not have had anything to do with it, but we've got this contemporaneous evidence in Mr. Pomerantz's book. So Pomerantz writes this book, which I'm sure you're aware of, where he says, we put together the legal eagles to get Trump. We got all these folks together and we assembled them for that purpose. And so when we on the Judiciary Committee think about attacks on the judicial process, our concern is that the facts and the law aren't being followed. A target is acquired, here, Trump, and then you assemble the legal talent from DOJ, Mr. Pomerantz, and you bring everybody in to get him. And meanwhile, the judge is making money on it. The judge is making money on it. The judge's family is making money on it for stuff that you yourself wouldn't do. You know, no one's going to buy this. No one's going to believe it. It's going to create great disruption. And I am saddened by it because, like you, I have given my life to the law. I care deeply about the law. And I think that the lawfare we've seen against President Trump will do great damage well beyond our time in public service. I see my time's expired. I yield back.
Wow. This is just great. What an incredible line of questioning by Matt Gaetz. But I guess the conspiracy theorists aren't so dangerous after all. If Merrick Garland doesn't find it necessary to dispel these crazy theories by allowing Congress access to the correspondence between the Department of Justice and these various attorney general's offices and district attorney's offices. Apparently they're not so bad. So, I mean, he's got a really simple way to dispel these rumors and he doesn't want to take it. And Matt Gaetz is giving him the perfect opportunity to say, hey, you're saying these are crazy conspiracy theories? Well, I mean, I'm giving you a way to prove that. Yet Merrick Garland doesn't want to. So you got to wonder, once again, there's just a lot of questions around this Department of Justice for Joe Biden. But finally, Thomas Massie confronted Merrick Garland over the fact that Special Prosecutor Jack Smith apparently was appointed illegally. He is not really supposed to be there after all. Listen.
Was Jack Smith nominated by President Biden or confirmed by the U.S. Senate?
Look, you're asking me about a case, again, motions filed as you just cited.
This is a simple question.
No, I'm not
Was Jack Smith nominated by President Biden?
No, he was not.
Was he confirmed by the Senate?
No, he was not.
When was the special counsel statute passed?
There is no special counsel statute. There was an independent counsel statute that was expired.
So it expired. So what gives you the authority to appoint a special counsel? You've created an office in the U.S. government that does not exist without authorization from Congress.
So Merrick Garland created an office within the U.S. government that does not exist. So this Jack Smith guy is just some random guy running around trying to prosecute Donald Trump. It's just absolutely insane. But what do you guys think about this? Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like and subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. But until then, I will see you on the next one.